Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching Really Dicey. This is Manny.
I'm RJ, and today we're reviewing Keys from the Golden Vault, the newest collection of adventures from Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro for 5th edition of Dungeons and Dragons, the role-playing game, if you haven't heard of it.
And if you like this or any of our other videos, please like and subscribe. It will mean a lot to us to have your support.
Yes, subscribe or your dice will be cursed.
If you want your D&D games to be more like Mission Impossible, Indiana Jones, and James Bond, or a combination of the three, then the Lord of Shadows has answered your prayers. Keys from the Golden Vault contains 13 adventures or capers, which you can play separately or together as a campaign. All adventures deal with heists in some very imaginative ways. We will not be spoiling any of the twists and turns and the secrets that the adventures contain, but we may talk about general plot elements, so be warned. This book is about 208 pages and contains 13 adventures for levels 1 to 11.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of the highlights of this book.
But before I talk about the adventures, a quick word about the art. As usual, the interior art is top notch. The regular cover is nice, but the special cover, which I'll show really briefly here, um, where it can only be found at your friendly local hobby stores, looks fantastic. It's probably hard to tell on video, but like if you see this, face to face to book, it looks spectacular. I love that most adventures have two types of maps for players and maps for dungeon masters, and the art difference between both was a nice touch.
Yeah, the maps are great, and there are prop handout maps for the scenarios that look hand-drawn and hand-annotated, and this lets the players engage in pre-action planning, although with limited information.
As for the adventures themselves, I am blown away at how good they are. It felt like editors Amanda Hammond and Christopher Perkins took the best parts of what made Candlekeep Mysteries and Journeys to the Raided Citadel and two other fantastic collections of adventures. They just took the best parts of what worked and nearly perfected it into this book.
Yeah, the scenarios are all heists or heist adjacent. So they include things like robbing a casino, which is very Ocean's 13, a prison break, stealing back a stolen painting from a thieves guild, stealing from a thief for another thief, a reverse heist in which you're unstealing from a cursed tomb, and a murder mystery on a train.
Keys from the Golden Vault has probably the best first level adventure story written for 5th edition D&D. The adventure titled The Merkmeyer Malevolence. You're breaking into a museum, you're sneaking into a gala so you can retrieve an eldritch item. I love the balance of this adventure. I mean, it's a first level adventure, so it's possible that total party kill can happen. But if you're fighting dinosaurs more than sneaking in this adventure, your players are doing something wrong.
Yeah, in this book also, there's some eyebrow-raising mechanics here and there. For example, Prisoner 13's reaction ability is actually better than Strahd's best legendary action, and it gets triggered by someone ending their turn. So basically, it's a legendary action. In another chapter, a character named Charmaine can take 3 reactions per round, but one per turn, similar to a legendary action. But they're actually triggered by things that happen, not just a turn ending. So there are some interesting choices in the mechanics in this book.
Now, heists can be very difficult to run, at least for me. Players can be creative, and dungeon masters need as many possible options available in case the players go right instead of left. Each adventure gives you a fair amount of good options and tools for dungeon masters to try to prepare for any eventual circumstance that your players can think of. Remember, some of the greatest twists and turns may come from your players.
Yeah, and there's plenty of opportunity for NPC interaction and role play in these types of scenarios. And there's some fun touches here and there as well, such as math that can cause headaches and psychic damage. I think we can all relate. And my favorite phrase of the book is the dung-filled cart is a fire hazard.
I was concerned at first whether each heist or adventure would feel the same, and I was happy to see um, the amount of imaginative scenarios and settings in this book. from trains to prisons to museums and strongholds.
Yeah, and what I liked as well is the casino heist gives rules for Three Dragon Ante without needing Three Dragon Ante card deck, which is a separate product, and it's a fun mini game. Unfortunately, if your character is proficient in Three Dragon Ante, there's no way to incorporate that proficiency into this mini game, which is disappointing.
So now we're talking about stuff that's disappointing us. Is there anything else about the book that you found disappointing?
Yeah, I think there's room for more creativity in some of these adventures. So, for example, wherever there would be a computer in the real world, there's a magical console that is equivalent. I suppose it makes it easier for players to relate to. But in a world of fantasy and magic, people still use access cards like in the real world. I think this is a missed opportunity for more creative ideas.
For me, it was the maps. Unless you bought this at D&D Beyond, you have to be creative in finding ways to get these maps to your players, or for other dungeon masters, or for yourself. At one point, D&D used to have map packs for their older 5e modules, and I wish they would do so again. So I have a tough question for you, RJ. Um, there are a lot of great stories in here. Was there one that stood out to you?
Yeah, my favorite adventure is Affair on the Concordant Express. It combines a prison break with a museum heist and murder mystery, all on an express train. There's a lot of humor and colorful characters in this one.
Uh, there are so many good ones for me that I loved, but the adventure Prison 13 really stands out to me. I've been really wanting to do a prison-related adventure for some time, and finding an example of one with maps in a fantasy setting has been a frustrating journey. But with this, I have a foundation I could start homebrewing. So, in conclusion, there are no new monsters, a few magic items, and definitely no new subclasses or species options. But the amount of maps, scenarios, and settings in this book is fantastic, and you can pop them into any campaign. Do you need a prison in order to show what a prison in the Forgotten Realms looks like? This book gives you the layout, guards, and other interesting yet secret details. Ever wanted to have a clockwork town with murderous machines or an evil music conservatory? There are a lot of great tools here for dungeon masters.
Yeah, so if you only want to play D&D 5e to experience heist-like storylines, then this book is made for you. I think there are other games that do better with this genre, but if you're watching this video, then you're probably looking for this experience in 5e. While there are 3 or 4 adventures that I would buy and use, overall, I was a bit underwhelmed. I wish these adventures were sold separately.
It's sad that the OGL controversy will overshadow Keys from the Golden Vault because this is one of their best works. Heists are a great theme, and Wizards of the Coast pulls off the quality of the adventures wonderfully. The art, the stories, the NPCs, and the dangers contained are marvelous. If I were playing D&D 5e for the first time, this is the book that I would want. I had a wonderful time reading these adventures and what dangers players can run into. So, thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Until next time. Wait, where's my pun? I had a great pun written to end this video on. Who stole my pun? Hello?